a constantly shifting modern world, do you ever feel like you are being pulled in 1,000 different directions? Perhaps you have also wondered, why is it that the more I try to take care of myself, the more exhausted and vulnerable I feel? We are taught that self-love is about resting more, indulging our emotions more, and avoiding things that make us uncomfortable. But if that path were correct, why is it that a single accidental word, a small failure, or an unexpected event is enough to make you lose your way? Stoicism offers a completely different perspective. For the Stoic, self-love is not about escaping pressure, but about training an inner self strong enough not to be crushed by it. It is not about seeking immediate comfort, but about building discipline, alertness, and the ability to stand firm amidst chaos. It is self-respect at the deepest level, not handing over control of your mind to circumstances, to fleeting emotions, or to the judgments of others. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who faced war, plague, and betrayal, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This statement is not meant to soothe, but to awaken. It reminds us that peace does not come from changing the world, but from mastering ourselves. The following 7 Stoic habits are a plan tested over centuries, not to help you live an easier life, but to build a solid inner fortress where you can stand firm against chaos and become invincible from within. If you believe that a resilient inner self is the foundation for all change, please hit like and subscribe to the Stoic Journey channel to continue this journey together. And the first foundation for building that fortress is learning to clearly distinguish what is truly within your reach. 1. Mastering what you can control. The foundation of peace in a chaotic world lies in a simple yet profoundly deep truth. Clearly understanding the difference between what we can control and what we cannot. This is not just a philosophical idea, it is a practical strategy to protect your energy and your sanity. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control. He taught that most human suffering stems from a fundamental mistake. We try to control things that are inherently out of our reach, the opinions of others, market fluctuations, the outcomes of our efforts, or even the weather. We suffer when these things do not go as we wish. Conversely, true freedom and power only come when we shift our entire focus to what belongs completely to us, our choices, our judgments, and our actions. Imagine a professional surfer. He cannot control the ocean. He cannot command the waves to be high or low, to arrive fast or slow. Trying to do so would be futile and insane. Instead, he focuses 100% on what he can control: his balance skills, his physical preparation, his ability to read the waves, and how he maneuvers his board. His greatness lies not in conquering the sea, but in mastering himself upon every wave. Life is the same. Every time you feel anxious, angry, or helpless, stop and practice this simple exercise. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, like a malicious comment, a superior's decision, or a delayed flight, accept it and let it go. Resistance only exhausts you. If it is, like the way you react, the quality of your work, or the attitude you choose while waiting, pour your entire heart and soul into it, calmly and with intention. Once you have identified which part is your board and which part is the wave, the next step is learning to maneuver it skillfully, no matter how violent the wave may be. 2. Respond. Don't react. True strength is not about being emotionless. It is about ensuring that your emotions no longer drive the car. In modern life, everything pushes you to react in haste. A criticism makes you flare up instantly. An annoying text makes you want to fire back, or a setback makes you want to explode. But the Stoics cultivate the opposite ability, pausing for a beat. Just one beat is enough for you to choose. Will you react by instinct or respond as the person you aspire to be? Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius both pointed to a very simple truth. It is not events that disturb us, but our judgment of those events. When you understand this, you reclaim your freedom. Because between the stimulus and the emotional surge, there is always a tiny gap, and within that gap lies your power of choice. You will encounter this in very ordinary situations. Imagine you have prepared for a meeting all week. A few minutes into your presentation, your boss looks at you and says in front of the entire room, "Stop, this isn't good enough. I need a different direction." You freeze for a few seconds. Your ego is bruised, you feel embarrassed, and you have an urge to snap back to save face. This is where selective response begins. You pause for a beat, keep your voice calm, and ask just one question. Specifically, which part would you like me to change? Then you take notes, wrap up concisely, and leave the meeting with your calm and self-respect intact, because you understand that not every situation deserves an emotional reaction. To cultivate this habit, use a simple filter before responding. Is this matter worth trading away my inner stability? If not, remain silent and move past it. If it is, respond one beat slower but more firmly. Speak less, speak clearly, and speak with purpose. You don't need to win with words. You need to win by keeping your composure. 3. Prime your mind every morning. Morning determines your entire day in a very subtle way. Some people reach for their phones the moment they open their eyes, letting a flood of notifications, bad news, and others' demands pour in. In just a few minutes, their minds are pulled away, rushed, stressed, and out of rhythm before they even have a chance to choose how they want to live. Consequently, the whole day passes in a state of reacting, not mastering. The Stoics considered the morning the most important moment of the day, so they chose to start it differently. Marcus Aurelius used the first hours of the day for writing, not for publication, but to train his mind. He prepared himself for the difficulties he might encounter, not with pessimism, but with realism and readiness. This is an act of self-care at the highest level, reclaiming control of your perspective before the world imposes its own on you. Think of this habit like a pilot performing a pre-flight check. They don't just hope for a smooth flight, they systematically check everything within their control, engines, fuel, control systems, to prepare for any turbulence that might occur. Your mind is your airplane. Morning is the time to perform your own pre-flight inspection. You don't need much time. Just 5 minutes is enough to change the trajectory of your entire day. Before touching your phone, do 3 things. Gratitude, 1 minute. Reflect on the precious privilege of being alive, breathing, and thinking. Feel grateful for being granted one more day. Preparation, 2 minutes. Visualize a challenge that might occur today, a difficult meeting, a complex task. Decide in advance which virtue you will face with: patience, courage, or justice. Goal setting, 2 minutes. Identify the single most important action within your circle of influence that you commit to completing today. By starting your day proactively, you have won a battle that most people don't even know they're fighting. Preparing for the day also includes protecting your most precious resource throughout it. 4. Say no to what doesn't matter. In our constantly connected world, your time and energy are under continuous attack. Invitations, requests, distractions, and unnecessary obligations surround us. Not knowing how to say no decisively is not kindness. It is a form of slow self-destruction. you are allowing others to decide the priorities of your life. The philosopher Seneca once said that we often guard our money carefully but are careless with our most precious asset, time. We get angry if someone steals our wallet, yet we willingly let others steal hours, even days of our lives through endless arguments or meaningless conversations. Think back. Have you ever had an argument that lasted for hours? You tried to explain, prove, and refute, but the more you spoke, the more exhausted you felt. More importantly, you gave away your time, your calm, and your energy to something unworthy. If you had stopped earlier and said, no response, no continuation, you would have preserved your peace of mind and your time for things that are truly deserving. This is not surrendering. It is the wise choice of someone who knows where they are going. Saying no is not a negative act. It is a positive affirmation of what you truly value. Every refusal of an unnecessary commitment is an affirmation of your health, your focus, and your goals. A polite, firm refusal that requires no apology is an act of self-respect. It sends a clear message that you are the master of your own life. In addition to protecting ourselves from external commitments, we must also train ourselves to face the inevitable challenges that life brings. 5. Turn adversity into fuel for growth. Modern society often leads us to believe that a good life is a life without difficulties, a flat road without obstacles. But the Stoic perspective is exactly the opposite. For them, adversity is not something to be avoided, but the necessary fuel for inner growth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This statement is not meant to comfort. It is a reminder. Every difficulty you encounter is a living opportunity to practice virtue, patience, persistence, courage, or wisdom. The Stoics do not wait for adversity to train themselves. They proactively place themselves in challenges to forge discipline under uncomfortable conditions. They understand that if you are accustomed to hardship, you will not collapse when true hardship arrives. Imagine the process of forging a Damascus steel sword. The raw metal is heated in a blazing furnace, struck with a heavy hammer, folded multiple times, and plunged into cold water. This process is incredibly harsh and painful. But it is precisely these adversities, the heat, the pressure, the sudden changes, that create the extraordinary strength, flexibility, and unique, beautiful patterns of the blade. A soul that is not tested through the fire of adversity remains soft and brittle. The next time you face a failure or an obstacle, try this mental exercise. Instead of asking helplessly, "Why is this happening to me?" ask powerfully, "What is this teaching me? What is the next step I need to take?" By changing the question, you transform yourself from a victim into a student and turn the obstacle into your teacher. To truly learn from adversity, we need a tool to face and analyze our experiences honestly. 6. Daily journaling. How much time do you spend listening to yourself every day? We know very well what others are thinking or doing today, yet we remain vague about our own emotions, thoughts, and choices. In a world flooded with noise from social media, news, and expectations, taking a few minutes to sit with yourself is not easy, but it is the most worthwhile thing you can do. For Stoics like Marcus Aurelius or Seneca, journaling was not for entertainment. It was a time to be honest with themselves, to review what they did well, what needed correction, and to remind themselves to live according to the values they chose. Every page was an honest conversation, no judgment, no sugarcoating, only the truth. It is like a gym for the mind, where you train the ability to see yourself clearly every day. You don't need to write at length. Just 10 minutes every evening with 3 simple questions is enough. What did I live true to today? Where did I slip up, and what could I do better? Is there anything I gave too much attention to that wasn't worth it? Writing these things down clarifies the clutter in your head. It turns emotions into understanding and ambiguity into choice. You might not like everything you write, but that very discomfort is exactly where you grow. And when you are brave enough to look back at yourself every day, you will realize growth does not come from fleeting inspiration. It comes from inner discipline. The discipline to live by what you believe is right, even when no one is watching. The act of writing down these thoughts brings clarity. It transforms vague emotions into analyzable data. This honesty may be uncomfortable, but it is essential for growth. All of these habits, from controlling your thoughts to facing adversity, serve one ultimate goal, the foundation of the entire philosophy. 7. Live by virtue, not by emotion. We have reached the final habit, the foundation for everything you have practiced from the very beginning. While the modern world constantly chases happiness, a volatile emotion dependent on circumstances, the Stoics chose to pursue something much more stable: virtue. It is not a reward, but the goal itself. It is not a distant ideal, but something you can practice every day. To them, virtue is the only true good that remains within our control. It is also the only thing that allows a human being to live with dignity, regardless of what happens on the outside. The Stoics did not define virtue with flowery words. They lived it. They practiced it through 4 pillars. Wisdom. To see clearly what is worth thinking, worrying about, and doing. Justice. To act rightly toward others, not because someone is watching, but because it is the right thing to do. Courage. To stand firm when everything falls apart. Temperance. To avoid losing yourself to desires or fleeting emotions. Imagine these 4 virtues as the 4 wheels of a car traveling through the journey of life. No matter how powerful your engine is, your ambitions, dreams, or passions, if you lack one of these 4 wheels, you will easily lose control when the road gets bumpy. Virtue is what keeps you stable, directed, and calm before every unexpected turn. Living according to virtue is the highest form of self-love. It is not about self-indulgence, but about self-respect, respecting the rational, noble part of yourself that cannot be taken away by any misfortune. It is about choosing to live rightly, even when no one is watching, because you know that is exactly what makes you the person you want to become. Self-love, according to Stoic philosophy, as we have explored through these 7 habits, is not a weak form of self-indulgence. It is the responsibility and discipline to forge a resilient soul. It is not about building an easy life, but about building a strong person who can thrive in any circumstance. This journey may seem immense, but it begins with a single step. Do not try to implement all 7 habits at once. Instead, choose the one habit that resonates most strongly with you right now. Perhaps it is journaling or learning to say no to things that are unworthy. Commit to practicing just that one habit for the coming week. Sustainable change does not come from grand efforts, but from small, consistent actions performed daily. Recall the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. This is the only power you need. It is always within you, waiting to be awakened and trained. By practicing these habits, you are not only learning to love yourself deeply, but you are also forging a soul that cannot be shaken, a truly invincible soul. If this video has provided you with a valuable perspective, please share it with someone who needs to hear this. And don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Journey channel so we can continue this journey of building an unwavering inner self together, day by day.